How fun. Now, these vaccine passports, when they roll out, if they roll out, I imagine they're coming. It doesn't seem like there's much of a fight here. I imagine they're coming. They're going to have information about your health records, any sickness that you may have had, your mental health, if you've spent time in any medications you're taking.
This is farther down the line. I mean, they're going to start off with less information first, but they admit that these initial ones are just a starting point. They plan to expand it later. If you go and watch the people that designed the frameworks and protocols that all this stuff is going to run on, they basically tell you what the intention is. So, first off with the COVID-19 vaccination, it's this little paper card. It doesn't look very threatening. And now they're talking about you need a vaccine passport. Well, they're already saying people are going to fake paper vaccine cards and paper vaccine passports. We need to tie it to biometric identity. They're already saying that we have to combine it with that before they've even rolled out the vaccine.
So like a retinal eye scan. Little retinal
eye
scan.
Not necessarily, but facial recognition is really pretty ubiquitous in the U.S. and Western world. A lot of people unlock their phones with their faces now.
I do, so yeah, we all do. Most of us do.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't, but some people.
Okay. Well, they know who you are anyway.
I know. I mean, that's not why. I just feel like I'd feel bad if I did it, considering what I write about. And then
no, of course, I get it. I get it. I just hate typing in that little code. So this becomes part of the problem. Part of the problem is I love what you write about, but it feels like and I want you to keep writing about it, but it does feel like we're gonna lose. I do feel like if it's a council of people led by the Pope and the Louders and the Rothschilds, me and my friends are gonna lose. What gives you any hope? Does anything give you any hope ever?
Well, I think there is actually going to be a lot of resistance to that. And I think it's important to keep in mind that what you're seeing on social media, what you see on mainstream news and the news in general is so manipulated to make you think a certain way. I mean, so are the polls. So, for example, in the UK, they were saying a vast majority of the public supports vaccine passports. And it turns out the polling company called Ipsos Mori, its CEO is part of the World Economic Forum, and they recently received almost £3 million in funding from Bill Gates. So, those are two big backers of vaccine passports. That company has a conflict of interest to manufacture consent for vaccine passports. And we know that they've manipulated polls for public opinion in the past. I mean, the 2016 election, all the polls were wrong and said Hillary was going to win. She didn't win, right? So there's this huge effort underway to manipulate public opinion to get us to go along with this, but also to make us think that, if we don't want to go along with it, we're the minority.
Right. And people are uneasy about this. If you talk to a lot of people, they're uneasy about the idea of vaccine passports. They're uneasy about this stuff. And they are really open.
Well, they should be.
And they should be. And they're open to questioning it. And they are questioning it privately. People aren't questioning it publicly for fear of retribution. Biden's new Secretary of Health, or not Secretary of Health, someone in the Biden administration, Epstein funded, or a buddy of Jeff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's the White House Office of Science and Technology. And for the first time, Biden, because he, is going to be the administration of We Believe Science or whatever, is going to elevate this post to be a cabinet level position, which it's never been before. So basically, he's going to be the person in this post is going to be elevated to, a Secretary of Defense, Secretary of Health, a cabinet level position. This guy that they've nominated is a man named Eric Lander, who leads the Broad Institute, which is basically MIT and Harvard and Silicon Valley figuring how they can harvest as much biometric data from you and use it to train AI and all of this stuff. But Eric Lander before then, was photographed meeting with Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein bragged on his website about funding his work, and he has never been held to account for it.
Right.
And now he's about to be nominated to the highest science post in the land of an administration that says, we're going to do whatever the scientists say. And this is the scientist that they're putting in their top post, a man that was funded by Jeffrey Epstein and denies it and lies about it despite there being evidence to the contrary. And mainstream media has not mentioned it at all. And I am worried that if more people don't know about this, they won't even question him about Epstein at the confirmation hearing, which would be just
I imagine they won't. What do you think about these new charges, which is laying some